Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make a cute little bunny bookmark. As you can see with my journal, the ears stick out really well, so it helps you find the last place that you used in your journal or your notebook, your reading book, anything like that. So it also acts as a sleeve, fairly easy to just slide on and off of your paper. Just like this. And then you can close your book, your journal, or your notebook, and you'll find that your spot is saved. So now I'm going to move on to the materials that you'll be needing. So you'll be needing 2 pieces of paper. One will need to be a little larger, and then the other is just a regular scrap piece of paper. In the video, you'll see that my larger piece of paper is a colored sheet of construction paper. I used blue. However, you don't need to use any sorts of special colors. And then my white sheet of paper is just like a scrap paper. And then you'll also need a pen and pencil. You'll need some glue to have those ears stick to the back of your bunny. You'll need some scissors to cut out your ears. And then, of course, some markers to make your little details of your bunny. I use black for the main details, like the eyes, the whiskers, and stuff like that. And then I use pink for those rosy cheeks and that pink little nose. So here's just a layout of the materials that I used. I'm going to put these away so that way you can see my larger sheet of paper. Alright, so you can see that I have just a regular sheet of 8x11 construction paper. However, it's not a perfect square like we need to begin our thing. So I'm going to fold my paper to have one side and one corner of the rectangle meet the other side, and it creates a very large triangle. As I fold this, you'll also see that it creates a rectangle at the very bottom. And this part is important because we're going to draw a line along the side of that triangle and rectangle. And we don't need that for our perfect square, but we will need it for later for our ears. So what I'm going to do is just cut that piece off because not only will we need it for our ears, but it also helps us create our perfect square. Alright, so here's our perfect square, and it's perfect now because all of the sides are equal to each other. Alright, so now we can begin. Our first step is actually to create that very large triangle again. So we were ahead of ourselves when we did that to make our perfect square. Now I'm going to take that corner and have it meet the very top of our triangle. And then fold really well. What I do to this side, I'm also going to do to the left side. So I'm going to get that corner, pull it up, and have it meet the very top of that triangle. And fold really well. Now I'm going to turn it around so that it's an upside down triangle. And as you can see, it forms kind of like a diamond in the very middle. It has 2 flaps at the bottom. I want to pull just one of those flaps and have that top or bottom of that diamond meet the very top of that upside down triangle, and then fold really well. Now I want to pull in these sides. So I'm going to bend that corner, have it meet the very middle. And what I do to this side, I'm going to do to the other side. So I'm going to grab that left corner, also bring it to the middle, so all those points are touching now. And then everything is nice and folded. So I'm going to turn that around and I'm going to fold those corners in again, and they're not going to stay folded. It's just we're doing that to create a crease, and you'll see why in a second. So I did the right side, I'm going to do the left side so I can form a crease really well, and I'm going to open it back up. As you can see now, there is a pocket there. So I'm going to open up one of those sides, lift up, and tuck into that pocket. And it's going to stay put now. And what I do to that side, I will do to the other side. this creates the sleeve that I'm talking about. That's going to slide on and off of whatever paper you choose to put it on. All right, so our main parts of our bunny are done. Now I'm going to put this aside so that way we can move on to making the ears. So this is where I'm going to bring out that scrap piece of paper, the white scrap piece of paper, and our leftover rectangle for making our perfect square. So I'm just going to draw 2 little lines at the very bottom. You want to separate the lines. And this is going to be our larger ears. So you just want to make a big balloon shape and do the same thing to the other. Have the bottom of that balloon meet those little lines that we drew. Put that aside, and now we want to make the inner ear part, and they're going to be smaller balloons. And we're going to make 2 of those. So now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut these ears out, the inner and outer ears. Okay. All right, so now that we've done that, I want to glue those inner parts of our ear to the outer parts of our ear. So I'm going to use some glue. I'm going to put it on the back of one of our blue pieces or whatever color paper that you chose. Just want to put some on the inner ear, and then we're going to glue that to the middle of our outer ear part. We want to leave a little space. I see that the video got cut a little bit, but you'll see with this second ear what I mean. So I'm going to add some glue to the inner ear and then glue it to the center, about the center of the outer ear. Point is, we just want to leave some space at the very bottom of that outer ear. Now what I'm going to do, you don't need to do this, but this was just for the sake of detail. I'm going to trace my ear onto, it doesn't have to be any other paper. The point is, I just want to get a little bit of that black ink to be formed on the outsides of my ear. And this is just this for the sake of detail. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to. So I'm going to do this to the other ear. Just trace so that a little bit of that black ink gets on and around that ear. Okay, so now I'm going to add some detail to my bunny before we glue those ears on. So I'm going to start by making the nose. Here's an example of another bookmark I made just as a reference. So I'm going to start by making the nose. I'm going to add 2 little kind of like half triangle, rounded triangle pieces, and then the part of the mouth, those little lines underneath it. Then I'm going to draw 2 big circles for the eyes. Oh, that was a wonky eye. What I want to do next is create 2 smaller circles inside of those larger circles. And I'm going to fill in the spaces outside of those 2 smaller circles. So it should look something like that. I'm going to move on to the next eye. Alright, so now I'm going to add some little eyebrows. And then I'm going to use my pink marker to add some of those rosy details. I'm going to first fill in the nose. Against the white paper, that pink doesn't really show up, but you could kind of tell it's a little rosy. And then I'm going to add some rosy cheeks. And then I'm going to use my black marker again to add some whiskers. Do this side now. And I forgot before, but I'm missing the the eyelashes, I mean. I think I made the eyes a little too big, but I fit them in there okay. So that completes our little bunny face. Now I'm going to use some glue, and I'm going to attach those ears to the bunny, the back of the bunny. I'm going to apply it in that space that we left between the inner and the outer ear. I'm going to take one of them and put it in the very back of the bunny, kind of in a slanted way. Hold it there really well so it can stick. And I'm going to do the other side now in the same way. I'm going to hold it a little bit so that way it can stick a little bit better. Alright, so now I'm going to show you what it looks like on my journal again. I'm just going to slide it on like a sleeve. And there's my spot that I saved. I'm going to use those ears to find my spot. And there's our cute little bunny. I hope everyone enjoyed this video and that you go ahead and make your own so you can use it with all of your notebooks and journals.